Welcome to the session. Topic of this session is Participatory Rural Appraisal PRA methodology. You are aware that the participatory approach of development is a preferred approach to bring the desired change in the development process or to have the outcomes in the development of the rural sectors or agriculture sectors. And basically it is a shift from the top down approach to the bottom up approach, and basically it provides the power to the local peoples or target beneficiary to design their to select the the programs on activities for their development. And basically the it provides an opportunity to the local people to participate to own the development process or program, actually by selecting the objectives or the programs or identifying the the methods of implementing the programs, and basically selecting or the problems for their development. So basically it empowers the people for their development activities. And participatory rural appraisal is one of the techniques which motivate the people to participate in the development process. So it is a very comprehensive techniques which involve the peoples, which motivate the people to participate, to identify the programs based on the problem, based on their resources available. So in this session basically we will be discussing the concept of participatory rural appraisal technique, then what are the different components or techniques in the participatory rural appraisal methodology, and then we will also discuss the methods or steps involved in the participatory rural appraisal methodology. So basically there is a need to have a synergy between the development efforts of the planners, or we can say the central government or the state government, and also with the need, aspiration and resources of the target group. So actually we need to bring a synergy between the government and the pupils who are going to be benefited from the program. So the target group, they should be active partners in the development process, basically in the planning, execution and evaluation of any programs and projects for the implement of a particular region or sector. So actually the participatory rural appraisal is followed for the involvement of the farmers. Basically it motivates the farmers in selecting the programs, in selecting the objectives, in selecting the resources for their development activity. So basically it is a shift from top to bottom and top and bottom to top. So basically here generally we have the policy which are planned at central levels, and that is implemented at in the local levels and by involving the local people. But here in this approach, basically in this methodology, we start planning from the bottom and implement it at the bottom level. We basically the necessary resources which are required from the central government or state government are provided based on the need assessment, based on the proper analysis of the local situation. So basically PRA is a method for appraisal of the resources in the villages. What are the different resources available in the villages, the natural resources, water, land, the cropping patterns, the animals, so all type of the resources. So we can appraise them, we can assess them, and basically all this activity is done with the assistance of the villagers themselves. So basically all the peoples or the villagers themselves, they explain the things, they express their resources by verifying the things with the team of the planning. So basically this PRA helps to assess the options, how to utilize the resources for the sustainable development of the agriculture or the agriculture in the village. And through this approach, basically through this PRA techniques, we can rank the priorities as the villagers identify, as the villagers see which is the most important activity, we can take up that activity first. And actually this technique also help in recording the informations, or then we can prepare the plan of actions based on the available resource and information provided by the villagers. So basically this is the flexible approach. Whenever there is some requirement for changes there, we can change the actions based on the discussion with the villagers. So this technique basically is used to plan, execute, monitor and evaluate the programs in the rural area, in the agriculture sector, in discussion with the villagers, the farmers. So for data collection basically there are generally we use the survey, and then this PRA is the new techniques, so we can have a little comparison in between these two. So survey is basically the data collection by the investigators from an outside agency using lengthy schedules and questionnaire. And actually in the survey, some investigator comes in the villages, they record the information and then they go out. So basically they never share their results with the clientels or the villagers, and they are simply used to prepare the programs for them. Then in case of the PRA technology, basically which is a alternative to the time consuming expensive survey technology, and basically information are collected from the people in the given areas, basically information provided to them also, and here people can suggest their own plans for the solving their problem, and information collected is more reliable and authentic than the survey, because people then themselves they verify the things by having the physical verification also. And the information collected through the PRA technology can be cross-checked with the other group of the people in the villages. So it is basically authenticating, and it takes short times, and the results are also there with the villagers. So there are different techniques available. There are the different techniques used in the PRA methodology, like village mapping. So here two types of village mapping is the social mapping and resource mapping is there. Then village transect is also done. The seasonal calendar is prepared. The time trend and timeline is also prepared. The mobility map is prepared. The matrix ranking is prepared. Well-being and health or wealth ranking is done. Then the livelihood analysis is also done. Then Venn diagram is prepared in the PRA technology. So now we'll move to the different techniques as we have listed here, and the village mapping is the first techniques used in the PRA methodology. Basically here in the villagers, they visualize their natural resources such as rivers, the forest, type of soil, whatever the natural resources available, they visualize them, then they depict them visually on a map in their own way. So actually they prepare the map of the natural resources available in the villages in their area, and basically this help in appraisal of the village resources and their locations, and basically all the micro details of the village get triangulated and corrected on the map through the discussion among the villagers. So after the collecting the after preparing the map, and actually a discussion is also held with the villagers to verify, to summarize the things. So what are the things are there in the villages. So here the another aspect of the village mapping is the the social map also prepared. So basically it indicates the location of the schools, hospital, houses, post office, bank and dispensary, whatever the social structures, social institution available in the area, that information is prepared, and basically it describes the and discuss the characterization of the condition of the household, also the caste wise distribution. So basically all the information related to the social aspect, like in the what are the different population of the the caste wise, and then what are the different type of households available, and then the what are the social infrastructure available in the villages. So all these things are prepared in the social map. Then we prepare the resource map. So here we draw the location of the natural resources, like what is the land use pattern in the village, what are the different crops growing, in the area, the river resources, the types of soils available, the ponds available, the trees and pasture available, the threshing yards, location of the threshing yard, the irrigation resources available, topography of the land. So all the natural resources, we prepare the location in the resource map. And here also we discuss the problems and opportunity on the basis of the natural resources. So what are the different problems in using these natural resources, and what are the opportunity available in the village itself, that we discuss while preparing the resource map. Then the next technique we used in the PRA technical methodology is the village transit or transit walk. So basically here the team go through the village and explore in detail the land use pattern, types of soil, the irrigation sources available, the types of vegetation available, the livestock available, trees available. And basically we study the natural resources here in the village transit and its profile, distribution and utilization. And also we discuss the issues or problems and the opportunity available that can be discussed while conducting the village transit. Basically, after preparing the resource map or the social map, a work done in the village by the team along with the villagers, and we verify the things, we understand the physical position of the resources available through the village transit. And here basically we can use the elderly persons or experienced villagers or the experienced village youth, and basically they should be encouraged to participate in the village transit. And actually because they have the complete narration, the experienced peoples, the villagers, they have the complete narration, they can better explain the things, the natural resources available. And during the transit work, whatever information we are collecting, there is a team information collecting, it should be properly documented, and all the information should be collected, should be properly documented. It is very much essential. And and some of the questions while having the transit work which are not which could not be replied by the persons or the villagers who are occupying the team, can be discussed later on with the other experienced person of the village. So that is also very important. Next technique we used in the PRA methodology is the seasonal calendar. Actually, we prepare the seasonal calendar to understand the seasonal variation in terms of the rainfall, temperature, availability of the period, the crop sequences, crop pest and diseases, labor demand, the workload, prices and the social events, income and expenditure, fuel collection and utilization. So actually in different aspect of agriculture or the economic activity in the village, what are the different variations over the period of time within the year, we need to understand, and for that purpose we prepare the seasonal calendar. And the seasonal calendar is useful to identify the major problems and also the opportunities. We can identify the months of the greatest difficulty and vulnerability or other variations in the villages, in the society. While preparing the seasonal calendar, actually the views of the villagers on changes are understood clearly, and basically it form a basis for future planning. Actually the people, they can express their view what should be there in the future. And actually for preparing the seasonal calendar, a villager can develop their own skills. For example, they can prepare the bar diagram for depicting the seasonal changes, and months and years may be written on the x-axis, and the quantity aspects can be expressed using the bar and piece of sticks or number of seeds that may be depicted on the y-axis. And data may be confirmed by encouraging the discussions. So while preparing the seasonal calendar, we can have a discussion with the villagers and they can confirm the data or information. And basically we can prepare a separate graph or bar diagram for different aspects or different items. Like for rainfall variation, we can prepare a different grams, or in agricultural labor demand, we can prepare a different bar diagrams. So, and the information presented on the diagram may be transferred to a large sheet for triangulations or with a large group. So, whatever the information which are depicted on the diagram can be transferred to the large sheet, and then that can be discussed with a larger group for verification. And the another techniques is the time trend and timeline. Actually, we prepare the time trend and timeline to understand the changes and trend in the populations, the agriculture scenario, the livestock scenario, the forestry prices, and basically interest rates. So over the period of time, what are the changes taking places on these aspects? We prepare the time trend or timeline, and basically it depicts the quantitative changes in the variables such as the yield over the period of time, area under crops, the livestock population, the horticultural crops, the area under fodder crops, the birth and death rate, the rainfall, pattern, the temperature. So we can prepare the complete variability in different aspect, and basically it provide an overview of the key historical events also. Basically, like we can collect the information on the year of introduction of the new crop, the cross bred animals when we introduced in the village, when we started the fisheries activities, and when was the outbreak of the epidemics, or there was a drought was there, the famine was there. So all this historical information we can also collect in this techniques. And how this situation were tackled, that is also very important information. This information we can prepare, we can collect from the elderly persons or peoples who are basically they know about the history of the village or the society, so their economic situations, their social situation, and so we can ask them to express their information about this aspect. Then mobility map is also prepared, and basically it depicts the pattern of the social mobility for different sections of the community for different activities. So actually, here we can prepare the information about the type of interactions, the economic status of the communities, how the caste system is there, and what are the different activities is taken by different section of the society. So we can prepare the information about them. Here this mobility map can also be used to have information on the marketing of farm produce, or actually or the problems like how they are fetching the drinking water. So the socioeconomic aspect information is prepared, is depicted using the mobility map. Then matrix ranking is also prepared. Here basically we identify the preferences and attitude of the villagers, and basically what they think about a particular topic of interest. Like we can have information about the varieties, what type of variety they prefer of a crop or vegetables, or what type of trees they like to have in the villages. So here we can and have the preferences and attitude of the people of the village. And we can collect the information about the regions for their liking or disliking a particular topic or particular varieties, and what are the differences in the villages on the choice and priorities of and that basically help to determine the strategies. Basically we select that items or the topics which are not prepared by the peoples in the village. So it helps us in the basically we can discuss the advantage and disadvantage of each varieties. We can rank these varieties by using number of seeds and leaves, and we can identify the best varieties which are considered by the villagers based on the different criteria which are expressed by the villagers. And we have to prepare the well-being and wealth ranking of the village, and while conducting the PRA technology. And basically here we prepare the economic profile of the village and status of each family as perceived by the villagers. So actually what they feel about the the economic situation of the village, or what the villagers they think about the social status or economic status of the different households which are living in the village. So basically it is very sensitive to us, and the whole process and the environment of the preparing this well-being and wealth ranking need to be controlled very carefully. And basically this ranking help in identifying the target group of a specific program, and basically it enables the community member to accept more assistance being given to the needy family. Actually based on this well-being or wealth ranking, we can identify the most vulnerable section of the society which are living in the village, and we can provide some more assistance compared to other peoples who are comparatively well in the society. And then villagers should be encouraged to speak out their own criteria for identification of wealth. What should be the criteria, who is good in terms of the wealth, like the land holding criteria may be there, the availability irrigation facility may be there, the cattle holding may be there, the material possession may also be there. So different criteria the people can experience. Then we have to prepare the livelihood analysis also, and basically it helps us to interpret the behavior, decision coping strategy of the household with different socioeconomic characteristics. And basically there are different variables we may include while preparing the while conducting the livelihood analysis, like the household size and their compositions, the land ownership, the wealth and the assets, the livestock strength, seasonal variation in earning and the consumption pattern. All these parameters are prepared and the information is collected while preparing the livelihood analysis. And then we have to prepare the Venn diagram, and basically it shows the kinds of communication between the villagers and the different agencies. And there are different steps which are involved in the preparation of the Venn diagram. Basically we have to identify the institutions or individuals responsible for the decision in the community or organization. So here basically first step is to identify the key institutions or the persons who are involved in the decision making process. We have to also identify the key persons who are responsible in the village also. And basically here we have to identify the degree of contact and overlap between them, the institution and the community in the terms of decision making. And then we identify the role played by different agency as perceived by the villagers. So how a villager thinks about the different institutions, their role in the village. So basically here we identify the relationship among and between the various institutions, and then we also identify the deficiency and the area of improvement which are required in the institution. And we also have we also need to identify the areas for new interventions, and basically this Venn diagram helps the agency to know their own image in the villages or in the community, as well as their organization performance. So while preparing the Venn diagram, the organization, they can understand their own image, how they are performing in the society or in the village or in the community. So through the Venn diagram, basically we also identify the area of duplication of efforts. So maybe the two institutions are working the same type of work, they can be reflected while preparing the Venn diagram. And for preparing the Venn diagram, basically the villager are asked to cut the disc of papers of different sizes and write the name of agency involved in the village development. And basically the larger disc is to be used for the most important agencies, a smaller one for the less important, and the distance from the center will denote the intensity of the involvement of that particular institution with the village. There may be overlapping of some disease indicating equal intensity of involvement in the villages. And there are different steps we need to follow while conducting the PR exercise. Like first step is to we have to introduce the PRA technology with the village. So for that purpose, we meet the village community and explain the purpose of conducting the PRA. And while introducing the PRA, there should be no promise made by the team that we will provide this much. So that note should be there. And after introducing the PRA technology to the villagers or the village community, village tour may be conducted with the local leaders to identify the soil type, water resources, crop growth, dairy, etc. And basically, if we can do this tour early in the morning, we will have more accurate information because people are available in the village. They can express their feeling in the morning time. And basically, we have to conduct a different group exercises like drawing a sketch map of the village and the locating the facilities. Then we have to prepare the mapping of the resources or plotting the seasonalities. We have to prepare the historical profile of the village. Then time allocation for different activities we have to prepare. Then we have to conduct the village transit. We have to prepare the ranking, priority ranking we have to do. Then we have to prepare a village integrated resource management plans. And in the end of the PRA technology, basically we prepare a summary. And actually, at the end of each exercise, the villagers should be asked to summarize what the diagram convey and what are the important implications of that particular diagram. So we have to discuss with them. And with this, we can sum up this. The participatory rural appraisal plays an important role in the bottom-up planning process, and PRA may be described as a way of organizing people for collecting and analyzing information within short span of time. The PRA method vary from situation to situation, are determined by local conditions, problem and objective. With this, I thank you all.